Imagine flying for hours over the endless blue Pacific, the horizon stretching out in every direction, nothing but water and sky as far as the eye can see. The world below is a vast, empty canvas, and you start to wonder if there's anything out there at all. Then, almost out of nowhere, a tiny green dot appears on the horizon, Nauru. It's so small, you might miss it if you blink. This is one of the world's smallest, most remote countries, so hidden that finding it on a map feels like a treasure hunt. It's a place that most people have never heard of, let alone visited. There's just one airline that serves the island, a single runway perched right by the sea, and a warm, humid air that greets you as you step off the plane. The airport is tiny, and the welcome is genuine. Nauru is a raised coral atoll, once a living reef pushed up by powerful geological forces, now a flat island with a narrow coastal strip. The land is ringed by white beaches and turquoise water, a natural fortress in the middle of the ocean. You can drive around the whole island in under half an hour, circling its perimeter on a single road, but its story is anything but small. Every turn reveals a new chapter of its past. Within this circle of land lies a history of incredible wealth, heartbreaking loss, and the enduring spirit of its people. Generations have called this place home, weathering both fortune and hardship. There are no fancy resorts or tourist traps, just a real community living daily life on a speck in the Pacific. Here, neighbors know each other, and tradition is woven into every day. The pace is slow, the air is quiet, and the waves are never far away. Time seems to move differently here, as if the island exists in its own world. Nauru's unique formation would become both its greatest blessing and its deepest curse. The land that once brought prosperity now bears the scars of its past. The anticipation of arriving here is matched only by the island's powerful, poignant tale. Every visitor feels the weight of its history and the hope for its future. This is a place where time has moved differently, and where one of the most dramatic stories of modern times has unfolded. The ruins and relics are silent witnesses to everything Nauru has endured. Nauru is not just a remote island, it's a world apart, with a story that demands to be heard. Its isolation has shaped its destiny in ways few can imagine. And it all begins with a single, improbable landing in the middle of the Pacific, on an island that is both a mystery and a marvel. Nauru's incredible wealth came from an unlikely source, bird droppings known as guano. This tiny island, isolated in the Pacific, was transformed by the natural habits of millions of seabirds that called it home. For thousands of years, seabirds blanketed the island in guano, which, over time, mixed with ancient coral to create vast deposits of phosphate, a mineral so valuable it was called white gold by those who discovered its worth for agriculture. In the early 1900s, a prospector realized that beneath Nauru's surface lay some of the richest phosphate rock on the planet, sparking a rush that would change the island's destiny forever. Mining began under foreign control, with powerful companies extracting the phosphate and shipping it overseas. Soon, the island was transformed into a vast, open-pit quarry, its natural treasure fueling farms and fields across the world. When Nauru gained independence in 1968, it finally took control of its own phosphate industry. Suddenly, money poured into the country, and the people of Nauru found themselves among the richest in the world, almost overnight. For a brief, dazzling moment, Nauruans enjoyed one of the highest per capita incomes on Earth. The island saw a wave of prosperity, with new homes, imported cars, and luxuries that were once unimaginable. The government provided free healthcare, education, and generous welfare. People bought fast cars, traveled abroad, and experienced a lifestyle that rivaled the world's wealthiest nations. The nation invested in global real estate, purchased properties in major cities, and even launched its own airline, hoping to secure a future beyond phosphate. But the phosphate, which once seemed endless, began to run out. The land was scarred, and the mines that had brought so much wealth now stood empty and abandoned. The Nauru Phosphate Royalties Trust was created to secure the island's future, investing the profits for generations to come. But the golden age was built on a resource that was vanishing far more quickly than anyone had hoped. Nauru's prosperity was dazzling, but it was always on borrowed time, a fleeting chapter in the island's long and remarkable story. Mining phosphate meant destroying Nauru's heart. The lush interior, once a tropical forest, was stripped bare by giant machines, leaving only white limestone pinnacles. The forest, home to birds and vital for catching rainwater, vanished, shattering the island's delicate balance. Dust from mining coated everything, even the air people breathed. The loss was cultural as well as environmental. Traditional hunting and gathering grounds were erased. Families were forced to the narrow coastal strip, watching their ancestral lands become an industrial wasteland. The wealth brought comfort, but also deep change. Traditional skills faded, and dependence on imported food grew. As the nation grew richer in money, it grew poorer in self-sufficiency and cultural connection. The paradise of Nauru was sold piece by piece, leaving a ghost of what once was. The price of prosperity was the loss of the island's soul. The land that had sustained generations was now a barren scar. Nauru's story became a paradox. Riches gained, but at an immeasurable cost. When the phosphate ran out in the 1990s, Nauru's dream collapsed. The trust fund meant to last forever was squandered. The money vanished. The once wealthy nation teetered on bankruptcy, left with a devastated landscape. The island's interior became a wasteland of jagged limestone covering 80% of the land, unusable and hauntingly silent. With little space left, everyone crowded onto the coastal ring, dependent on expensive imports. The economic crash was catastrophic. Services crumbled, jobs disappeared, and assets were sold to pay debts. Nauru turned to desperate measures, tax haven schemes and hosting Australia's asylum seeker processing center. The ghost of the phosphate boom lingers, a constant reminder of fortune lost. The scars of mining are everywhere, shaping daily life and limiting the island's future. Nauru's fall from grace is a stark warning of what happens when wealth is built on a vanishing resource. The island is left to reckon with the ruins of its own prosperity. Arriving in Nauru today, you won't find a polished tourist destination. What greets you is a real country, raw and unfiltered, where authenticity is the main attraction. The first thing you'll notice is the sense of stepping into a world that moves at its own pace, far from the bustle of typical travel hotspots. The airport is simple, and the main road runs right past the runway. So close that traffic halts for every landing and takeoff, a unique sight that instantly reminds you you're somewhere truly different. There are no sprawling resorts or luxury villas here, just a handful of modest hotels and guest houses, each with its own charm, and a community that welcomes you like an old friend. Nauruans are famously friendly, eager to share stories and proud of their island's unique heritage. Their warmth is genuine and their smiles are unforgettable. The human connection is the true reward for visitors. Conversations here linger and every encounter feels meaningful. Life moves at a gentle pace along the 19-kilometer ring road. Kids play football in the late afternoon sun, families barbecue by the sea, and fishermen mend their nets as waves lap the shore. The rhythm here is set by sun and tide, not the clock. Days begin with sunrise over the ocean and end with sunsets that paint the sky in brilliant colors. Infrastructure is basic. Fast internet and variety in shops are luxuries, not guarantees. You'll find small grocery stores and the occasional internet cafe, but little else. But this simplicity encourages you to slow down, disconnect from the digital world, and truly connect with the place and its people. A trip to Nauru is for the curious, the open-minded, and those seeking something different. Not the luxury seeker, but the traveler who values experience over extravagance. It's a chance to witness resilience and hope in a place shaped by extraordinary history, where the scars of the past are met with the optimism of a new generation. Here you see not just tragedy but a living, breathing community, families gathering, children laughing, and neighbors supporting one another. Nauru's story is still being written every day by the people who call this island home. Visiting topside is sobering. Leaving the coast, you enter a stark gray wasteland. Rusting mining machinery and skeletal loading arms stand as monuments to a lost era. The landscape is a maze of limestone pinnacles, blinding in the sun, haunting at dusk. Nature is slowly reclaiming the ruins. Ferns and twisted trees push through cracks, a testament to resilience. Some locals plant small gardens in pockets of soil, acts of hope amid devastation. Each rusted bolt and broken wall tells of boom and bust. The scars are deep, but so is the determination to heal. Exploring topside is to witness both the wound and the first signs of recovery. This is not a natural landscape, but a man-made scar, one that Nauruans are learning to live with. The ruined heart of the island is a powerful reminder of the cost of extraction. All of Nauruan life unfolds along the coastal ring. Homes, schools, and community gatherings. The sense of community is strong, everyone knows everyone, and the ocean is central to daily life. With the land barren, the sea provides food and joy. Fishermen head out at dawn, families gather shellfish at low tide, Beaches fill with children's laughter, and the connection to the ocean shapes modern identity. But imported food has brought health crises. Nauru has some of the world's highest rates of diabetes and obesity. The mining era changed diets and made fresh produce scarce. Still, the people are resilient, preserving language, traditions, and cultural pride. Traditional dances and songs echo the island's heritage. Despite hardship, there's dignity and hope, a focus on building a sustainable future rooted in culture. The spirit of the Nauruan people is their most precious resource. Nauru stands at a crossroads, determined to heal its land and future. Rehabilitating topside is a monumental generational task, crushing limestone, planting trees, and dreaming of a green heart for the island. The nation is diversifying. Sustainable fishing and small-scale tourism offer hope. Education is key. Young Nauruans study environmental science and sustainable development, aiming to solve unique challenges. Climate change and economic fragility remain threats, but hope persists. The community invests in its youth, empowering them to lead. Nauruans are not defined by loss but by endurance and vision. They are writing a new chapter, one of resilience and renewal. The challenges are immense, but so is the determination to overcome them. Nauru's future is uncertain, but hope is alive on the horizon. Nauru's story is a cautionary tale for our times, a lesson in the dangers of unsustainable resource extraction. It shows how quickly wealth can vanish, leaving environmental and social scars. In a world facing climate change and overconsumption, Nauru is a microcosm of global challenges. Visiting or learning about Nauru changes your perspective. It's a reminder that every dot on the map has a story. Supporting places like Nauru starts with curiosity and empathy. Their struggles are tied to the health of our shared planet. We are all connected. What happens to small islands matters to us all. Think of Nauru, the pinnacles, the friendly waves, the children in the sea. Their story is one of loss but also of resilience and hope. In caring for the smallest places, we learn how to care for our whole world.